Okay, let's see here. I'm sitting in front of Ganesha, but I guess I can kind of move over a little bit. All right. And I don't think this microphone is working. If you guys are here, can you let me know? Um, let's see. Make sure I have the do not disturb on so no calls can come through. Awesome. See, there's one person here. So when you get here, just say hello. Um, Let me know how the sound is because, like I said, I think I can't. Yeah, it looks like it's on, but it doesn't look like it's registering. Good morning, Kris. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm wondering if I should have done this over Zoom. Um, Might have been easier. Who else is here? I see two. Oh, it's Christina. Hey, beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I think that probably the computer microphone is fine. So I think I'm going to move this back here so it's not all in the view. Woohoo! All right, so let's see all this crazy technical stuff. All right, we'll get started in a minute. I was actually teaching another class for our Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven. Hey, Suzanne. Thank you. Interactivity, polls, questions, graphics. Says auto-generated captions. I'm like, interesting. Never actually looked at all of these settings before. I was hoping to share with you guys some different, I guess, how do I get back to the regular stream? Is this it? It's giving me a stream preview, but I'm trying to figure out how to put comments so I could put links to these people's sales pages. Dashboard, is that where I need to be? Ah, yes, dashboard, here we go. Yay! Okay, there's a pausing. Weird. Okay. So anyways, welcome ladies. And basically how this works is I'm going to walk you through some prompts about creating your sales page. So what you want to do right now is think about something, an offering. It could be a retreat, it could be a workshop, it could be a course, anything that you would want to invite people into. So I would just choose one thing, one specific offering that you have. And basically what you'll be doing is I will be giving you very precisely timed prompts, and you may not be able to finish writing everything, but what you want to do is get out your main ideas. And you're going to work from this to make, maybe it'll turn out to be your actual sales page. Maybe you'll go back and flesh it out more because in the time allotted you may not have enough time to really fully flesh everything out, which is totally fine. What this process is meant to do is to help you not get bogged down by your own inner critic, right? Because a lot of times we start writing something, it's like, oh, should I say it this way? Is that really the right way? You're not going to have time to have any second guessing or doubts. You're just going to have to, boom, get stuff written out. So maybe for you, it might be more of an outline or a series of ideas, right? And then for each section of the sales page, I'm going to, try to pop in some uh, websites in the comment space so you can kind of click on those and go, as I'm talking, look at that page. Um, anyways, so much for that. All right. So this is going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite things to do. All right. So let's talk about the first part of your sales page. So the first part of your sales page is going to be called the hook. So the hook can be a question, it could be a startling statistic, a shocking statement, or imagine this, where you're painting a picture of this amazing, beautiful, maybe it's a retreat that you're inviting people into, and imagine, you know, learning all about, business and this and that, but you're sipping on a mojito in the middle of the Pacific Ocean, cruising around Fiji or something like that, whatever. So we're going to look at some different hooks. All right. Let me see here. This is a good one. So this one is created by my business partner, who is amazing. Her name is Demelza Fox. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. So I just put the link in. It says Rockstar Priestess lpages.co Rebel Priestess. So you can click on that because I'm going to be talking about. So obviously, if you're just starting out with sales pages, this is a beautiful layout, but this is not what you're trying to achieve today. What you're trying to achieve today is, again, the very juice and the structure of what your page could be. So look at how beautiful these graphics are. The top graphic, Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven. Amplify your priestess power, activate your sacred work, and receive divine riches. Book your free business review call now. So just at the very top, you know that this is something witchy, right? She's using the word coven. But it's all about prosperity and priestess power and activating your sacred work. So this speaks to her audience. Fall back in love with your business and manifest the aligned success and money you crave. So I would say, I would not call these hooks. So what she has at the top of hers is kind of, what are the results that you're going to get from coming to the Prosperity Coven? You're going to amplify your priestess power. You're going to activate your sacred work and divine riches and receive divine riches, right? This is, so we know that her ideal client is someone who wants to empower themselves to make more money, right? And then, so her hook is spiritual entrepreneur. Is this you? So then she has what I would say, these are the problem / pain points, is what she's using in her hook. So her hook is this question. Hey, spiritual entrepreneur, is this you? And you've been stuck in some shitty low income stage in your business for what feels like ages. You have a reoccurring fantasy of giving up and just getting a regular person job in a garden center. And that's how frustrated you are. So she kind of goes through, for her ideal client, what are the pain points? What are the problems? And she does it in a really, very, bullet pointed way. So we're going to look at, here's one that I created. So this one is called The Plunge. This was one of my first flagship programs. So I'm going to give you that one to look at. Give you a minute to get there. So this is my website, and There's this picture of this mermaid because the plunge was all really built around my branding of Mermaid, right? So this I came up with this in 2012, 2013. So marketing magic, business direction, imaginative branding. A 21-day one-on-one plunge into your supernatural potential for women, men, and mermaids. Discount for actual mermaids. So I tried to put some humor into this. So my hook is, let me ask you a question. And for the record, I'm not crazy, just inventive. How would you run your business if you were a mermaid? So that's the hook. And then, you would go into how would a mermaid do business, right? So think about it. You probably spend a lot of time basking on rocks, sunning your gorgeous scales instead of scrambling to pay the bills. You'd probably create products, services, and programs with extraordinary impact and depth. No fluff, no quick fixes, nothing slimy. You'd probably fall in love with marketing, a marvelous opportunity for self-expression, storytelling, and magical attraction. You'd probably be very prosperous, very serene, and exceptionally seductive. A true alpha female and entrepreneurial goddess, no ifs, ands, or tails. So I want my ideal client to imagine how they would run their business if they were a mermaid or a goddess or, a fairy or a queen. It could be any of those things, right? So I have a really good list of cosmopolitan headlines. Where are they? Did I not save that? Yeah. Okay. These are really fun. So when we talk about hooks, one of the best hookery sort of magazines is Cosmopolitan. Like you go by and the headlines are so fun. So here's actually one that's based on a movie title. So How to Lose a Man in 10 Days. You remember that? I love that movie. It was so funny. It was Kate Hudson, Matthew McConaughey. So she writes for a magazine. I forget the name of it, but it's definitely like a cosmopolitan like magazine. So you could get inspiration, like how-tos are great hooks. So let's say your retreat is named the Sparkle Retreat, the Sparkle Goddess Retreat. And then a hook would be how to lose a man in 10 days. How to lose your inner sabotaging bitch, or your inner sabotaging mean bitch that keeps you from experiencing pleasure, or something like that. So How to Lose a Man in 10 Days, I kind of was playing around with some different title ideas and hook ideas. So How to Lose a Bad Client in 10 Days was one that I thought would be really funny. So you could say the truth about ... would be a good hook. The 3 biggest lies about ... All right. So anyways, that gives you an idea of different hooks, right? So now I want you to imagine writing the hook for your sales page. And I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes on a timer to just jot down some ideas. And then if you want to share any of those ideas in the comments when you're done, that would be great. So let me get my timer out. Okay, so starting now, you have 2 minutes to write your hook. Go. And yeah, if you have any questions, put them in the comments. I'm going to try not to talk too much when you guys are supposed to be writing. You have about 55 seconds. Okay, 14 seconds. Okay, the timer has spoken. Okay, so we're going to move on. Does everybody have at least a start of a hook? Or do you have questions, or do you want to share? And Dana, Davina, thank you for stopping by, Dana. And yes, do watch the replay. It will be up here for eternity, I suppose, or however long Facebook decides to last. Great. Okay. If you want to tell me or tell us in the comments, you can. If not, let us move on. Okay. So the second part of your sales page structure is the backstory, or the why behind this retreat, this class, this book, this Facebook group, whatever it is that you're creating, whatever is you're offering. Why did you create it? What's, maybe it was because it's something you need, right? And something you've been desiring and wanting. So that's part of it. And so write down the backstory, why you created this offering, the why behind it, okay? So I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes. No, I'll give you 4 minutes for this one. Okay. 4 minutes for your backstory. And for this, you might just want to do like bullet points, like I was saying, or quick notes. But try to get everything out. Again, you don't stop and second guess yourself. Just keep writing. Christina, I love that. How to awaken your inner sparkle goddess and get juicy in all of your relationships. So that's a great subtitle for your retreat. Because it talks about the results, right? Because you're teaching them how to awaken their inner sparkle goddess, and you're teaching them how to get juicy in all of your relationships. So I think that's a beautiful kind of subtitle or subtitle, but for a hook, you might want to be like, is this how you're feeling? Tired, blah, 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 like somebody's doormat. That could be a hook, going into the pain points. Or you could say, imagine what your life would look like if you were the goddess, if you claimed yourself as the goddess, and then maybe, write down a few things about how that would look. I really like that. Imagine if you were a goddess. How would you do life? How would you do business? How would you do relationships? I don't know if that helps. Let me know. So there's 2 more minutes left. You're writing your why, the backstory behind your creation and what you're offering. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I love that. Do you want to feel like a dream girl and not a doormat? Hell yeah. Everybody's going to raise their hand to that one. Yes, that's me. That's great. I love it. It's perfect. Or you could even say, how would it feel to be a dream girl and not a doormat? How would it feel? Not do you want to? I think that's, I mean, most people would say yes, but you want to get them imagining for themselves how that would feel and then kind of then give them little hints in what comes after that. Got about 55 seconds for your backstory. $30. Okay, time is up. Okay, so let's, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of these sales page links, I will actually try to put them into one like section as part of this post when I go back and edit it, edit the live so that way you can go back and study each one for their different, juice. And specifically, you might want to go back and say, hey, my backstory, I want to see how other people did their backstory, or I want to see how other people did their hooks, etc. Okay? But now we're going to what I call the promise. So what can you undeniably promise as the results for coming to your retreat, coming to your class, reading your words, whatever it is, listening to your music? What is the transformation they are buying into? So let's see. I want to use one. This is one of my favorite writers, and you should definitely get on her email list. Her name is Alexandra Franzen. I found her in 2012 through someone named Danielle Laporte, who also does beautiful sales pages. But what I love about Alexandra is she's really talented, and she also uses zero social media to sell. She is not on any form of social media. When I first found her, I think she was on Twitter only. But I don't know what her full revenue is, but I would say she's close to, she's multiple six figures, probably close to $1 million a year entrepreneur with zero social media. Okay, so put that in your mind. It's pretty amazing, right? So let's look at Alexandra Franzen's velocity. Velocity, my brain, my writing skills, all yours, 7 days, 56 hours in a row, a ridiculous amount of work, finished, right? So we know this woman is going to help you write something quickly, right? So velocity is a 1 week writing productivity spree. You get my brain for 7 days in a row. Okay. So we would say, where is the promise? So her promises, and this is a short sales page. So I wanted to show you that not all sales pages have to be super long. So her promise is, I create tons of content that you can use right away. And she lists out what that is. That is huge. Okay, so let's go back to, let's look at this one. I like this one. This is We Are Power Play. This is a really great Facebook ads coach. I think her name is Adrienne Richardson. She's pretty well known. I put hers in here too. It's wearepowerplay.com. And you could see hers. So let's look at her promise section. So we want to know what's the transformation? Okay. So she is someone who actually tracks the data all the way from the call to the sales books. She can actually interpret the data and tell you exactly what the data means. She could take that interpretation and actually tell you precisely what to improve or change in your marketing funnel so you get the result you're looking for. Okay? Let's go back to Demi's Prosperity Priestess Coven. And scroll down. Okay, so our 4-month prosperity coven will take you from feeling scattered and overwhelmed to fully showing up for your sacred work and making money from your magic. That's a promise, right? We're telling you this is how we are going to help you transform your business, right? Let's see what else. In Prosperity Coven, we take your hand and dive into your business together, make a few tweaks to course correct your efforts, teach you a big mindset paradigm shift so you can get out of your own way, and then give you the support and accountability so you actually do the things that you have been meaning to do. Grow your email list, enroll peeps in your private practice, make that e-course. So you can start making some fucking money from your magic already. Yes, finally. Get all the support, know-how, sublime British business strategy, and loving butt kicking you need to stop spinning and focus on what will finally turn a profit and feel like all your hard work is paying off. Okay? So we're telling them we are bringing you from this state to this one. That's the transformation. That's the promise. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to write your promise statement. Okay? And go. And you could just write this as bullet points. What is the transformation? What are they going from and to? Just grabbing some tea, ladies. You have about 50 more seconds. Okay, 10 more seconds. Okay. We are going to move on because now this is the easiest part to write. So This next section should be about the logistics. So the who, what, when, and where. What do they need to do to prepare for this? Are there pre-workshop prompts or homework? Or is there a survey they need to fill out or a questionnaire? Okay, so let me, yeah, just do 2 minutes, just jot down. And if you're not quite sure yet, you could leave this blank and just put logistics, who, what, when, where. And I don't know if you guys have any questions about what you're offering, like if you want some ideas around, you know, how to structure a retreat. Like if you're running a retreat, how would you, you know, what would you ask for in advance? You know what I mean? What would you be, how would you be asking them to prepare? So maybe, you know, if they're going to be doing like a special ritual or have them bring, you know, a special piece for the altar, make sure that they bring their bathing suit. You know, it's like if they're going to a sparkly goddess retreat with Christina, I imagine there's going to be some pool time, beach time, probably some fancy evenings out, so they probably should bring a beautiful gown or a beautiful dress to get dressed up for like a special, maybe there's, anyways, you get the point. Okay, 50 more seconds. Okay, time is up. All right, so we're going to move on. And then at the end of this, we can go back over and maybe you need some help with your hook, or you need some help with the title for your offer or pricing. We can go through all those questions when we're done, okay? Kris says, you're about to launch your newly redesigned website. Yay! And love some launching ideas to announce it. Hopefully the second site course platform will be ready in time to be launched together. Ooh, yeah, launch ideas. We will definitely talk about that. Great question, Kris. Okay, so now we're going to move on to a section called who this is for and who this is not for. I think maybe Demi did a really good job writing this one. Let me see. Wow, this is a beautiful. Okay, I see one section that she did really well. So let me see if I have. Who this is for. Huh. Okay, so I would say that for me, let's say I'm selling the plunge. I would definitely say this is for people who have just started a business and they're not really clear on how to talk about what they do. They're not sure what their branding is yet. They don't really, they want help formulating a brand identity. So who is this for? It's for entrepreneurs who are either starting a personal brand, or they're already, they've already started, but they want to have more clarity around their branding and who their clients are, and what kind of messaging would attract those specific clients that they want. So that's what the plunge would be for those people. So for let's say for Christina's retreat, she would probably want this is for women who, maybe this is for professional women who really are overworked, they're tired, they're maybe people pleasers, right? And they really want to shift into women that know what they deserve and that know that they can have this life of beauty and richness and sensuality, right? All those things that Christina, because I know her really well, that Christina represents. So really think about, who is this person that really needs what I have to offer, right? Because we know that's the person that's going to buy. That's the person that's going to jump in with both feet and be like, oh my God, yes, take me away on this retreat. This is exactly what I need. Now, you could also put who this is not for, right? So this retreat would definitely not be for someone that doesn't want change in their life, that just wants to complain about everything and not do anything about it, right? We don't want those people. So you can, if there are specific kinds of clients or people that will not be a match for you or for this offering, you could put that down there. So who this is for and who this is not for. You could totally do that. Okay, so I'll just give you guys, I think, 1 minute for that, okay? So maybe write down some of the qualities that you want in this person who would come on your retreat or come take your course, or who would be attracted to your website and want what you have to offer. We have about 30 more seconds. Okay. All right, so let's talk about another section. So the next one is called hesitations or concerns. So what questions or concerns will come up? Who else has a say before they can make a decision to buy? So it might be their spouse, maybe they need childcare. That's always one that I just, as a business coach and doing business courses, what drives me crazy is when people are like, well, I have to ask my husband, or I have to ask my wife. I'm like, oh my God. But it's an objection that comes up a lot. So that's what we call answering objections. This is an important part of your sales page, and definitely if you need to be on sales calls or any kind of informational calls or webinars, you need to know what would someone hesitate about buying into this retreat or buying into this course, right? And then how would you answer those concerns? So some people would call this an FAQ page. So let's go to the Rebel Priestess Prosperity Coven page that you guys have from Rockstar Priestess. If you go to towards the bottom, there's an FAQ. It says FAQs. And it says, what are the dates and times of the coven? So this would answer help people decide, oh, well, I don't know if I really can show up on those days and times. For example, the coven is, I'm on Pacific time and she's on UK time, and the time zone is not really super compatible for folks in Australia. So most people, if they wanted to, be a part of this, if they were living in a really different time zone, India or Australia, whatever that is, they probably would be watching the recordings, right? They wouldn't be on the live calls. They would be watching the recordings, and as long as that's okay for them, it would work. But, we think for this particular offering, we think it's best for people to be there live as often as they possibly can, right? How much to take? So this is a big hesitation concern. How much work is this going to take? I have a job. I have kids to take care of, blah, 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 blah. How would you answer that objection? It's too much money. This is another one. I don't have the money and it's too much money. It's like, well, how would you answer that one? So the different ways to answer that would be, well, what is it costing you to stay a doormat? Or what is it costing you to not charge what you're worth in your business, right? You can ask the question in that way so they can think about it, right? Yeah, you can come to my retreat and be a sparkly goddess, or you can continue to have the same pattern show up for you because you are showing up for a certain way as a doormat. Are you going to take responsibility and take care of yourself and do these things for yourself so that you can really shine and live this beautiful life that you've always dreamed of? Or you could stay in the same place, right? That's a choice that they can make, right? So that's part of this section, the FAQs and hesitations and concerns. So I'm going to give you guys 2 minutes to just take notes on what you think your clients of this particular offer, what would be their excuses to not do it? What would be their hesitations and concerns? All right, get going with your writing. And Christine, I love what you wrote. Power women that want to balance their feminine side and embody their inner Marilyn. Woo! Those are the women you want. Absolutely. Okay, about another minute. Okay, about another, I'm gonna actually give you guys a little less. I'll give you like another 20 seconds and then we'll get on to the next one. Okay. So the next section is kind of, it's similar to the promise, but it's more about what you get, right? So there's different ways to do this. Let's go back and look at Alexandra Franzen because it's a little shorter. So we know with her velocity thing, we know you get 1 week of her brain. So 7 days in a row, she's going to meet with you, and she's going to help you write content for your website, for your TED Talk, for your email pitches, website, whatever you need, right? And she says that you get a fun conversation where she interviews you, gathers stories and material, and builds a to-do list of everything you want her to create. Okay? So you know that's what you're going to get, right? Let's see here. Let's look at the Facebook lady here, Power Play. Let's see what she's going to do. I don't know, this one, hers is really long form and a lot of clicks, so I think we're going to look at somebody else's. Let's look at the plunge. Let's look at mine. Okay. Okay, so there is a section that says what you get, right? So number 1, you're going to swim away with a clear understanding of your personal mythology, the archetypes that drive your life and business, as well as your customers' motivations, needs, and desires. You'll receive a 5 to 10 page PDF, your personalized mythic brand archetype report that will help you connect more deeply to your mythological archetypes so you can apply the wisdom to your brand. You're going to receive a masterful marketing plan fit for a mermaid. Number 3, I'll write irresistible copy for your homepage, work with me in about pages of your website. Number 4, you're going to get your priorities straight once and for all. 5, you're going to enjoy a wealth of mystical musical treats because I gave people like their own custom meditation, affirmation, visualization, audio thing with music to match. Okay, so I'm going to give you, so this is like, looking at what you're promising them, but what are the logistics? I'm giving you, so the what you get, it's like to create that promise, you're going to get, 5 modules, 5 PDFs, you're going to get this, you're going to get that. So you're telling them this is what you get when you go on this retreat, this is what you get when you take this course. Again, if you have questions, just put them in the comments. I'm going to give you guys 3 minutes for this one. Go ahead and start. And so obviously, you may not use every section of these on your sales page. You might even use more. Look at all the different examples I'm giving you. Some are really long, some are super short, some are in the middle. There's all different ways to do this. So like maybe if you're having a retreat, you know, this is what you get in the retreat. You get, you know, breakfast and lunch and dinner on day one, and you know what I mean. You get a special one-on-one consult with, you know, me about your, you know, blah, 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 or so-and-so's going to come and teach belly dance. You're going to get a, you know, a beautiful activity of riding the horses on the beach, blah, 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 blah. You know, that's kind of some of the stuff you might want to include in what they get. So this is like kind of more of a bullet point part to it. It's like you're promising all these things and this is how you're going to get there. These are the yummy little tidbits they're going to get. Okay, you have about 20 more seconds. Woohoo! Awesome. Okay, next section. So I lied. I'm making you do this for an hour, but I wanted to kind of go into different things and not just, you know, show you some examples and give you a little more explanation. But hopefully so far this is helping you kind of put things together, right? Okay, so the call to action is next. So this one's easy. So the call to action is buy now, sign up, or apply now. It depends on what you want to do. So this is like a, you know, kind of like a big button somewhere on there. And you could look at the different, you know, examples I gave you. So just for this section, write call to action. Tell them what action to take next to do your offering. It's usually a buy now or sign up now, register now. It could say, yes, I'm ready to become a sparkly goddess. That could say, you know, just say yes. And then they can click on the button and it'll take them to buy or to register, okay? The next section is basically a bio with your photo or headshot. So this can be a shorter bio or a longer bio. Let's see here. We'll look at, let's see, if you have the plunge up still, let's see. About me. I'm not your normal dry marketing and business coach. I take the deep and intoxicating parts of the mind and mythology and turn it into powerful and proven strategies to help you gain more visibility, customers, and revenue. With over 25 years of marketing and web development for companies, the likes of Paramount Pictures, Disney, and Citrix Online, I know what you need to do to succeed without hiding your true identity. I've helped hundreds of entrepreneurs create a business and livelihood that feels otherworldly, seductive, enthralling, and totally bewitching. So that's one version. I have another version that's, you know, quite a piece longer. So writing a bio, that is like a whole, that's another workshop too. Maybe we should do that next week. That might be actually kind of fun while we're in the writing mode. So I don't think I'm going to give you time right now because we're almost through in the hour and I want to make sure I have time to answer any questions. So just write down that your bio and headshot should come next on the sales page. The next part is praise and testimonials. So for any, and sometimes I do the bio after the praise and testimonials. So I'll do a call to action and then the praise and testimonials and then the bio. But some people really like the praise and testimonials last. You know, I've changed it up. So, and some people will sprinkle it throughout the sales page, as you'll see in some of the examples, which is fine. So, you know, if this is your first time running a particular retreat or course, you can use testimonials from past clients and praise, you know, so yeah, if you have questions about how to come up with good testimonials, I can definitely help you with that. So post there. So that would be the next section. The very last thing on the page would be either another button, a second call to action with a button to buy, or maybe it's If you have questions, reach out to me over email, or if you have questions and want to talk to me, let's do just a brief 20-minute chat. Here's a link to my schedule, my online schedule, and sign up for a spot to talk to me about it. You know, because for some things that are over $1,000, a lot of times you do need to get someone on the phone or over Zoom and talk to them about it before they will buy. All right, so that's your sales page. That's it in a nutshell. And from here, you can totally expand it, add graphics, make it look pretty. Again, look at the examples I gave you. I think they're all really, really good. I think there was one example from a guy that I didn't show you yet, but I will post in the group. I will post it so you can kind of study what other people are doing and use it as inspiration. And you might, want to follow along with their structure. You might be like, wow, this is the perfect structure for my retreat. Let's say you know somebody running a retreat that you've done before that you were like, you loved how they talked about it and what their sales page looked like. You could totally use that, use it for inspiration for your own page. Okay? Ladies, are there any questions? And if you're here on the replay, definitely hashtag replay in the comments and leave me a question. Or if you're following along with this and you have, you want to tell us about your hook or what some of your ideas are, feel free to post all of that. I'm not seeing any more questions come up. I'm going to actually use my phone to look at Facebook and see if awesome, redirect. Feel free to post them up. I'm gonna actually use my phone to. Okay, so it looks like Kris, wonderful guidance, excited to improve your under construction sales page. Woohoo! I can't wait to see it, Kris. You have to give me like advance viewing. All right, Christina, any questions or any thoughts? Yeah, Christina, when you are done with your sales page, we'll definitely have you post it in the group because I'm sure there's women who'd want to come. So here's a little, like fun, like carrot dangling to get you to write your sales page. If you write it from this workshop, send me the link and we will post in the group to all the people here and, they can sign up for your stuff. So I think now we have 222 people on 2/22/22. Isn't that crazy? Oh yes, Kris, tips for launching. So I have a mini course on how to launch, and I don't have. I'm gonna just, I have some time. So if you have time and you want to stay, go ahead and stay. I'm going to give some launch tips. I'm going to read it directly from the overview. Let's see. I could probably even upload it to the group. But I just want to read through it for Kris so she has some place to start. I'm going to go to PDF. Okay. So I'm going to go to the overview, and I'm just going to read you the steps that I use in a launch. And basically, I would say, depending on, what you're offering, I try to give 4 to 6 weeks advance because, in my launching system, there's like a whole sequence that I follow. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about that now. Okay, you're welcome, Christina. Yeah, so you can write up your, I can't wait to see your sales page, because I think I'm gonna have to go on this goddess weekend retreat with you. It sounds amazing. Christina has a beautiful place in Baja, everybody, and I don't know if that's where you're actually doing the retreat, but Christina is an amazing, amazing burlesque dancer, belly dancer, and just and woman empowerment coach. She's amazing. Okay, so launch steps. So overview. So the first step that I always do is, especially if it's an offering I'm creating, I usually have a person in mind or clients in mind that I would to invite. So I, make a list of those people. So maybe, for a website launch, redesign and a rebrand, you really, that's, you're basically telling the whole world, and you will, but as you're listing these people out, think about, people who are your current client, people who are your past clients, and invite them to come see the new website. And I usually I make a list, and then I write an email, and I personally invite them. So I do send out to my newsletter list, but that's later. So I want to kind of like have like a select group of people to really offer this to in the beginning. You want, some really good eyeballs on it, and people too that are going to be really supportive. So the second part of the second step is what I call drip tease marketing. It's something I've always done, and I really love doing it, and it's teasing your audience. So it could be a series of emails and social media posts. I usually like to do 4 teases, which is why I have like this kind of 4 to 6 week sort of launch lead up. So before I even tell them what it is, I send them like little teasing emails and social media posts like, ooh, coming soon, maybe for Kris, this, coming soon, the house of belly dance land is the virtual home is getting a whole new look. So maybe you're not necessarily showing them, but maybe you have some behind the scenes of you like showing like in process of designing, or sharing, okay, yeah, today I've been coding and working on, the About Me page, or I've been working on the new Belly Dance Land course page, whatever it is. And then you can just talk a little bit about the process and how excited you are. So you're kind of bringing them along a journey. A retreat might be a little different. So a drip tease marketing for a retreat could be, okay, so imagine yourself on a beach, blah, 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 sipping mojitos, and you're so relaxed and so, feeling like you're in your element, blah, 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 blah. So kind of, so for Christina, it'd be like setting the scene of the retreat in little tiny pieces, teasing people. So these can be like 3 to 4 days apart. They could be 5 days apart. Start to just put little things out there so people are like, oh my God, I really want this. I really want to be a part of it. And so they get all, their, panties get all wet because they're ready to just sign on. You know what I mean? So by the time you reveal, which is the next step after the drip tease marketing, when you reveal it, it's like, oh my God, they're pulling out their credit cards, or they're jumping their computer so they can see what the new website looks like. They're so excited. Then the fourth stage of the launch is what I call promoting by edutaining. Now, when you do a website launch, if that's all that you're doing is like a rebrand, you could probably stop after the reveal. There might be other things you could do, like maybe after you reveal would be maybe sending a survey, asking for feedback, asking what they think, trying to get engagement, right? So step 4 is really about engagement and getting people to come into a conversation with you. So I kind of call this promoting by edutaining. So it's educating and entertaining at the same time, right? So you could use, maybe have another 3 to 4 or even 5, as many as you want, like little mini lessons / blog posts / emails, however you want to distribute the information. But you know, you'd want to talk about why it's important to take retreats, take time out. Like what are the statistics of overworked women and heart attacks? What are, you know what I mean? And it doesn't always have to be serious stuff. It could be like, you know, maybe Christina, you interview like one of your past best clients about, you know, how they felt after they did a retreat with you in the past, or they did something, you know, for themselves to treat themselves. And it could be like a little video interview or a blog interview, you know, any sort of bringing in past clients and how well your process worked for them. That those are great pieces for edutaining and for helping to sell. So what you would do is, so this is kind of like a soft sell too. So at the end of this, you know, enter edutaining sort of content, you would say, hey, you know, you could check out the retreat on this page here. And if you have questions, reach out to me or set up a call with me, whatever you're using to enroll people into your program, into your retreat. So the 5th part is post purchase, right? So after someone buys from you, what needs to happen, right? I call this the roll out the red carpet. You know, you don't want people to just buy something and then you never talk to them again until they show up at the retreat. That's not good customer service. We know this, right? So how would you get them ready? You send them, you know, okay, here are the menus, or, you know, here are, here's the list, here's the final itinerary for what we're doing. Here's the travel agent to call to make your arrangements to get to the retreat. You know what I mean? So you want to already begin getting them excited and ready to come on this retreat, to take this course. So if it's a course, it could be a pre-course survey, so you can get to know them better and what they need. So then you're really customizing to the needs of them. You know, maybe also indoctrinating them in the platform where the course lives, like an orientation for a course, a meetup. It could be virtual or live, you know, before the actual retreat or course begins. Think about how you want to take care of them and get them excited, and really feeling proud of themselves and happy that they bought your thing, right? You don't want them to have buyer's remorse. That's the worst, right? Let's see if there's anything else in here. I think that's kind of the main thing. Oh, Michelle, start at the beginning. Great. Okay, Kris, I hope that helped you, gives you some ideas. And again, if you ladies have any other ideas that come to you after this, just put them in the comments. Know that I believe in you, I adore you, I love you, and I am here if you want to set up a call with me. I do a little 20-minute goddess channeling, and if you're interested in working with me, we can talk about ways I can help you with your business, okay? So to set up time with me, it's bizgoddesschat.com, B-I-Z, goddesschat.com, and I will type it in here. really slow. I hope this wasn't dreadfully slow for you guys. For some reason, it's slow when I type stuff in. Looks like there's a little bit of like a stagger. And thank you for being here. I cannot wait to see some of your pages, and just celebrating you and excited that you're out in the world doing. It takes a lot of guts. Hats off to you. This being an entrepreneur is not always easy. Right? And courage and heart. Okay, until next time. And if you can think of anything else you'd like me to do workshop on in the coming months and here in the group, let me know. Bye, everybody.